Come on, YouTube. There it is. All right. We're live, ladies and gentlemen, with Francis Castro.
What up?
And just because we made this introducing the Ultimate Shred League with Francis Castro, we're
Mm.
going to be talking about the Blow Up the Skate Park contest. Let's first talk about what the Blow Up the Skate Park contest is.
Yeah, so essentially it's pretty straightforward. It's 10 brands plus the Source BMX, and they each put in a rider to represent them. And essentially the rider has 24 hours to film a skate park video, and then the public votes for it. So it's predominantly reader's choice, and then the Source is actually doing a side sponsorship where we have three judges coming in and doing like a judges award. But predominantly the point of it is to make it reader's choice.
That is rad.
Thanks.
10 brands. Okay, what's the rider list?
Ah, damn, let me pull it up because I'll be editing these videos and I realize even if I need to make like one Instagram promo, I need to make 10 Instagram promos. Like everything's just
Yeah.
multiplied by 10. Like I was just talking to my girlfriend. I was up all night last night just making the simplest thing. It just adds up because there's so many dudes. And if you miss one, it's just like hell, you know. So it's Poor Homie Rich for Colt, Brock Rayford for Odyssey, Jacob for Kink, Jacob Cable, Gary Young for Sunday, Chad Curley for Premium, Ethan Poirier for Fit, Matt Ray for Shadow, Hilario, who's replacing Justin Spreet, Hilario Olivos, he was in that Odyssey at Ease video. He's representing Ends Footwear, and then Colin Vereniak, he's doing it for Fiend, and then Devin is doing it. Devin Smiley is doing it for Fly.
Dude, that is like insane.
Yeah,
That
it's like
is,
it's most of X Games Street. You know, it's like 70% of the X Games lineup for Street and some other dudes.
so what did
Pretty
it
darn.
take to like make that a reality and get those people involved?
I'll be honest, not much, man. I confirmed half the sponsors within a car drive, pretty much. I was gonna go visit my dad. He's about half an hour away from me. On the freeway, I had called Ethan a couple weeks back, and I was like, I really want to like start doing some BMX related stuff again. With this kind of contest format, be sick, you think? He's like, yeah, that'd be sick. Whatever, I'd be down. So I'm looking through my phone, and I was like, I have everyone's number, and I have such good rapport with the head industry dudes like Nuno at Odyssey, Robbie at Cole, all those guys, because I've done so much video work for them in the past, and we're like, we're on good terms. So I started calling them up, and then in that half-hour drive, I had confirmed like four sponsors pretty much.
Wow.
Uh, I mean, granted, I was kind of lying a little bit. I was like, oh, like at Odyssey, like, yeah, Colt's down, Fit's down, and then like I would just tell everybody that everybody else was down, kind of.
Well, hey, sometimes you gotta do that a little bit to get it to, and it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I knew they'd be down. Like honestly, Robbo from Colt, he was down immediately. I
Hmm.
was like, "Yo, we're doing this." Like, "Oh, we're in like instantly." I'm like, "Oh, well, can you put in this much money?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, invoice me, whatever." But like, he was like, not even invoice me actually. He was just down. After my first breath, he was just down to be in it. You know what I mean?
That is
Um,
sick.
but yeah, we have a lot of rapport though. I've known him forever since I was like freaking 15 or something. So he trusts me, and I have some stripes earned in the industry. So I think it put me at an advantage.
Right, right, for sure. With that, the question comes up in my mind: if it's 10 riders, they all have 24 hours to film a skate park video. Like, is it they're seeking out a filmer, or you filming it? Because it seems like all these guys are kind of local.
Yeah, so we're covering all the production cost. I actually hired Grant Castelluzzo, and he's filming all of them, and then I'm editing all of them. And the reason why I wanted to do it that way, it's first of all, it's much easier to market, especially when you're doing like the pre-park videos, and we also did like long form podcasts after. It's better to have that continuity, And then I
Hmm.
didn't want one dude to have a really dope filmer like Chad as Dobie, but then Devin might not have someone who's filming him all the time kind of thing. So he might have to ask like a homie filmer or something, and then that puts him at a disadvantage. So I figured like having the same exact production team would be the great equalizer, and having the same exact, I mean, editor, I'm editing all of them. So it's really the only variable that isn't fixed at that point is their writing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. You removed all of the variables that could affect it.
Yeah,
That's
aside from the hecticness of the skate park, some dudes got luckier than others with their park choices and stuff like that.
so they're all different skate parks, or just they got to pick whatever park they wanted.
Yeah, they picked whatever park they wanted. We didn't enforce this necessarily, but we kind of said, hey, it would be cool if we didn't double dip at any parks. Like I know Matt Ray and Devin, they were both thinking the skate park in San Diego called PQ, the one where Garrett Reynolds did like the really famous Vital BMX skate park video, the VX one
Gotcha.
from back in the day. They both wanted to do that one, but then Devin was kind of like, I'm burnt out on it anyway. I'm like, okay, perfect, because that kind of would have sucked, because then you're comparing it on who rode the skate park the best, and then that becomes another variable because you're comparing it on a different level.
Yeah.
Versus if it's just everyone has their own skate park, it's kind of like a street park. You know what I mean? Like the riders are going to ride the same street parts or the same street spots. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes
Yeah, I
sense.
get it.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet too. With that, the other thing that came into my mind. Oh wait, no, that question's answered. I was gonna ask if it was the same 24-hour period, but obviously Grant
Yeah.
can't be at 10
We
different
got
places.
one grant, 10 riders, so
Yeah, obviously. Which, so how long did it take like to do this?
it took a month or so. And, under normal circumstances, we could have cranked it out in a week or two. But my
Yeah.
girlfriend actually had like double bunion foot surgery. So she was like casted up on both feet. So I was kind of playing like full-time nurse.
Mm-hmm.
So I only wanted to allocate like 1 to 2 days of production for the week. I didn't want to be away from her for too long during that time. So that's the only reason why it took about a month to film. We do 2 to 3 parts a week kind of thing, like a
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday kind of vibe. But it was fun though. I mean, I never even hung out with Grant before, so we kind of became buddies. Like, just jumped into it. Kind of became, I'd like to think friends. I hope he likes me. But it went from like never even knowing the dude to like crashing in San Diego together because Chad and Gary wanted to film on back-to-back days, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
we got close over this.
Dude, that is rad. And
Yeah,
then
thanks.
so one thing that kind of came to my mind when I was thinking about all of this is that like literally anybody could attempt to do something like this, but not anybody could just get 10 big companies involved. So like how important do you think it is to have those companies involved
Mhm.
in the very first thing that you're even doing with the USL?
Yeah, well, it kind of that exactly. You're totally right. That kind of goes back to the first thing I said, where it's kind of I have my roots in this industry and I earned my stripes, so I have that advantage. And I think it's very important because one of the main things I told the brands is, yeah, like X Games Real Street, super dope, right? Super
Mm-hmm.
cool. I love it. I just love the entire concept. It's a big inspiration, obviously, for this. But you'll watch an Awesome Simone video and you have no idea what Sabrosa is the entire time.
Yeah.
And sure, X Games comes around once a year and really helps these guys out a couple times a year, I guess. But who's really the day to day supporting these dudes? From before they had any real recognition, who really took them from a grassroots to an AM to a pro position, who really supported them the whole way through. So obviously it's the brands, right? So to me, it was very, very important to show like, yeah, X Games is putting on these kind of events, or these cool sponsors may be putting on these kind of events, but the other 364 days of the year, like the brands are the ones really supporting the riders. So I wanted to be really brand focused. Like
Yeah.
Matt for Shadow, because without Shadow, this is impossible. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not only in terms of sponsoring the contest, but Matt Ray's like his ability to travel, the reason why me and you know about him, the reason why he has a dialed bike, it's all thanks to Shadow Sabrosa. And I just really wanted to shed light on that because it's awesome. And I think when events get kind of big, you kind of lose the dudes, like lose the sponsorships in the noise. It kind of just becomes very event heavy, very like X Games heavy, which is I get it. It's not they're there to make money and advertise, but I just wanted to really shed light on the dudes actually backing these guys the whole way around.
Which is really cool because I mean it's not something that's easy to do in another type of contest because
Mhm.
it in another type of contest it just becomes like a list, or like a big block of sponsors at the bottom of a flyer that
Mhm.
they helped make it happen, but like with what you're saying, Shadow Sabrosa, they bring Matt Ray to this. They didn't just support it and put their name on the flyer or whatever. Like they made him, not made him, but like brought him to light in BMX kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it was just super, super vital for me to, really emphasize that, because I wouldn't feel comfortable being like, yo, give me X amount of dollars, you're gonna be put on a flyer, I wanted
Right.
to be like, you'd pay this amount of money for an edit anyways, only this edit is gonna be way more hyped up. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
plus have like the cross promotion of the other riders, like with those interviews we did and all that stuff. So I just really want it to be a big win for the sponsors.
Yeah, and I mean, in a time where there's really like nothing going on, this
Yeah.
definitely feels like something that will be. Um, so I got a few more questions here. I mean, you kind of answered it, but like, can you go more in depth about how stoked these companies are to be involved with it? I know you said Robbie was right away, but anybody else?
Yeah. I mean, I got only one company that wasn't down. Everybody else was insanely down right away. Um, and it's just like kind of like you said, like nothing's going on right now. And a lot of the media brands, not throwing shade at anybody because I feel like there's a place for everybody, in this. But a lot of the media brands, and this isn't me, this is what these brands were telling me. They're saying they're not showing any initiative, they're not conceptualizing, things. It's kind of all on us, all on us is what everybody would tell me. So they were just like, wait, you're gonna film this? Like you're gonna cover the production costs, you're gonna do the graphic work, you're gonna, like do interviews, like do the editing, like they were just blown away. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, we're a media company. Like what the hell else are you paying us? I mean, like what, So to me, it's a no-brainer, and to them, it was a no-brainer just because there's just a big space, a big missing space in it,
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I just want to be clear, I would never dig at other companies when I was approaching these brands. It was kind of like they would communicate it to me, like a big sigh of relief, like, oh my God, like freaking thank you, finally, kind of thing, like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's pretty much, yeah, they were stoked. Does that answer the question? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely. So what is a company's involvement in this? Be as in depth as you feel like you can be. I mean, I love transparency and stuff. So
Yeah.
just like, what is a company's involvement in it?
They just paid I guess, their fee for being part of it.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, it just goes back to my past with all these companies. They trust me. They trust like the filming, the creative vision, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So they were pretty hands off. I kind of just they paid me. X amount of their fee goes to the prize money. X amount goes to grant, food, and travel because we're paying for all that for all the dudes too. And then I just turn in an edit and they're just like, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. Now that's it. They're just kind of covering the expenses and then obviously helping cross promote as well.
So yeah, like they're paying to get involved with it, and then basically you and everyone you've or Grant and anyone else you might have hired is doing all the work.
Yeah, yeah. So Grant's is filming everything and then I'm just doing the editing, yeah. And then the social media and all that stuff.
I mean, based on everything I've just heard, it sounds like you're doing this in like the a really awesome way.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I appreciate that. And like I said, I think it just comes from just wanting the brands to be stoked. I feel like a lot of the media, I don't want to throw shade. I'm not, this
Well,
isn't a,
sometimes I feel like there's no criticism towards BMX media from legitimate like outlooks and standpoints that's public that
yeah,
people who are just consuming this on a day-to-day basis can see and be like, yeah, we want that. So I think
yeah.
sometimes it can be good and it's just constructive criticism. It's not like throwing shade.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, this isn't even, like don't shoot the messenger. This is what the brands were saying. It's kind of like they're in this position where, like, what are we paying for kind of thing. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So, and it's almost like a lot of these media brands are just kind of here by default. Oh, because we need a BMX blog. We need a hub to watch videos, to see the latest videos, which, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, we definitely do need that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't think it's fair for the sponsors just to pay money without getting some sense of return for it.
Right.
Like they're just paying for the, and this isn't me saying this. This is all the sponsors I talk to. They're kind of just paying out for the sake of paying out, for the sake of having a blog, for the sake of having something, And I live by this saying where it's kind of like if you don't like something, change it.
Be the
And
change you want to see. Yeah.
yeah, like, I don't know, a lot of people like you hear the story like all the time, like, oh, like, BMX isn't in a good spot right now, like, oh, BMX media is in a good spot, and then you just sit on your hands and don't do anything about it. I'm the kind of dude where if I want to see something, if I'm gonna bitch about something, it's because I have the intent to either try to make it better or try something that I would think would be cooler. Like my intention is only to better things. I'm never gonna bitch about something or not like something and stop there. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that perspective on it. I mean, that's kind of what started my news videos is that no
Mhm.
one was doing it consistently, and I felt like there was a need for it, and I kind of just stepped up to the plate, and I've been doing it for over 3 years every Friday now.
Totally, dude. That's awesome.
Um, with that, I feel like like that's out there. So
Mhm.
that's out there. You're doing this. Now other people can either take this and get ideas and
Mhm.
do something like more essentially, or you're gonna take over basically. You're creating kind of, it's weird to say competition, but it kind of is because this is exactly the kind of thing that I feel like needs to be happening in BMX. More people need to be doing things like this. When someone like you has the access to these companies to the point that you can get a lot of them on board in a half hour,
Mhm.
like it just goes to show how easy it probably is for anyone else who's close to these companies to just do
Well,
more.
the other dudes, like these companies are already paying them retainers every month. So
Yeah,
it's like they're already in. Like there's not even a phone call required. It's just kind of like there's no convincing to be had. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know how their margins break down, but it's like they're already receiving funds kind of thing.
right.
It's out. I just wish people were doing more with it.
Right, which is sometimes, I mean, like we keep repeating because it's so easy to offend people in BMX, but it's just, it's sometimes frustrating to see the lack of original things that happen. I get that it's due to time and whatever, but if you're being paid like you're talking about, then you want to do something more to give the return on it than just like, oh, I post on Instagram and Facebook and the website
Yeah.
specifically your stuff and I put it at the top. Like I feel like
Mhm.
we're at a point in media and technology that it's very easy to go beyond that.
Totally. And I feel like something else that I feel like will kind of set us apart is a lot of the media companies, they're cool. Like they're cool guys, like
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
it's cool, right? Like they're in, Vans is with them heavy. I feel like that almost constricts them in terms of what they can and can't do, for
Mm-hmm.
example. I'm not saying USL won't be cool. I think it's the coolest thing ever, as it stands, my humble opinion. But I feel like I'm in a position where it's like I don't care to impress my peers. I'm more interested in impressing the consumer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't care if pro X, Y, or Z doesn't like this certain kind of content because that one guy isn't swiping his card making these things possible. I'm not gonna do corny stuff, but it's like I feel like people are kind of like we're so cool, which also means that everything else is lame. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's kind of that binary that they put themselves in, where it's like, okay, we're just gonna stick to the rigid old like content we've been producing for the last 7, 8 years, and nothing's gonna change, and we can clearly see what is and isn't working, but we can't adapt because we're too cool. Um, and I think too cool has a place, but I don't think too cool is worth paying for either. You know what I mean? Um,
Absolutely.
so yeah, I think I'm in a position where I can be much more flexible with the content we produce for USL in a very professional way. Like I want to bring back like Road Fools essentially. Like the Road Fools format, it's coming back and no one sees it. Like you'll see Anthony Panza, he'll take a trip with his friends or something
Yeah.
and document everything. So I kind of want to have a mix, half that, half like the cool guy aesthetic BMX production. So everything's coming back, man. So
You
I just
know
want to.
what? I just kind of realized something because I had this conversation on here in a live stream before. I think I was just like by myself, just like talking and interacting with the chat and stuff, talking about how easy it could be to do something like Road Fools again. And the fact that you got all those companies on board to be involved with the same project, I'm willing to bet that they probably would be willing to get involved with a Road Fools like project very
Yeah.
easily. When I was told after this, because I posted it on Facebook after my thing, I was told that people have tried, but companies weren't down. So,
Mm.
I mean, it's just a sign that you either get with the times or get out sometimes. That's part of it.
Which is funny because the Times is just, I feel like it's just working its way back around. Like that's another thing. Like what people enjoy consuming, like hasn't really like yeah, there's it's changed. People watch vlogs now, maybe video parts don't do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Of like the mid-level content, like a game of bike or like a skate park video or like a trip video or a daily trip video, like a road fools type thing. But imagine segmenting every day as its own individual video kind of thing instead of one big thing.
Yep.
That never stopped being cool. You know, like I worked my ass off through high school filming like vital skate park videos,
Yeah.
and then Instagram came out and that everyone stopped doing those, but. I feel like they never stopped being cool though. Like kids love watching it. I love watching it. At the end of the day, like I consider myself a consumer first. You know what I mean? And then it's just kind of like I don't want to say people use Instagram as an excuse. I just feel like they kind of just assumed, oh well, people just post their Instagram clips now, so that's just how it is now. But that's just not true, man. Like the amount of hype these skate park videos we're getting right now, it's insane. And how stoked the writers are to actually be going in for a project that we'd be working on like 6 years ago, kind of thing. They're just super stoked. Like it never stopped being cool. People just kind of assumed it wasn't cool anymore, or assumed people didn't want to see it, but it's just not true. And then just going back to the Road Fools thing, I already have brands in this contest. I was talking to them today. They're asking me about what we're doing next, kind of thing already.
Mm-hmm.
Future is looking good. You know, I don't know who said that Road Fools can't happen again, but you know, I'll say it on here. You know, we'll make it happen.
I love it. I've literally in that I can remember in that stream I was like just saying like someone needs to do this. Someone who's in the position to do it because of how easy it could be to do.
Yeah.
Um I wanted to go back when you were saying skate park videos. What did you mean by a skate park video?
What do you, oh, like when I like the ones I used to make kind of thing, or what kids
Yeah.
used to watch? Oh, I just mean like the typical Vital BMX videos or like the dance comp videos, or like the simple, like those simple mid-range pieces of content. So I guess you would say like an Instagram clip is like a low range, like a quick
Mm-hmm.
little here today, gone tomorrow. Then obviously the kind of a day video, skate park video, game of bike is that mid-range, and then like a video part I would consider high range or a
Gotcha.
DVD.
Okay.
You know? I feel like people kind of let the low range Instagram content kind of overcrowd the mid range stuff, and everybody stopped doing it.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying, I used to film those all the time, and kids love them. And I stand by my belief, and I think this contest solidifies my belief that kids never stop loving it, you know, or even not even just kids, like people like me or you, like never stopped loving to watch those things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's the best part about this, really. I'm not inventing anything. I'm kind of just looking at the past and being like, hey, that was cool. I'm just gonna do it now because no one else is doing it, kind of
Right.
thing. You know? But obviously with a newer twist to it. But yeah, it's just so I don't want to say easy because I've been working my ass off doing this, but in terms of conceptualizing it and the execution, it has been relatively easy. It's just not the end of the world to throw a skate park video contest. You know what I mean? Anybody could have done this in the last 5 years.
Right. Absolutely. And what's funny about the game of bike things is that honestly, I've been watching old games of bike that come up and on some shit and stuff used to post like all the time. And all these videos like 5 years old. They just randomly started popping up. And I was like,
Yeah,
man, click on one because it was like Adam LZ versus somebody crazy in BMX. And I was like, I forget how good Adam was. I'm gonna click on this and watch it. And then
yeah,
watch it. I was like, damn. So I watched another one and then and now I'm like, I need more of these.
yeah, 100%. And I remember, I think that's when we started talking. You put that on your story, right? Like, why isn't
Yeah.
any brand? It's funny. I reference the Game of Bikes a lot, and my biggest example is the Dance Comp Roll Call DVD. It has 500,000 views on YouTube, like the whole DVD. And then you have like that flat ground game of bike between Devin Smiley, Stevie, and Shane Weston and Morgan Long. I don't know
Hmm.
if you remember that one, but that has like 1.2 million views. It has like over twice the amount of views.
And guess what? How long did that take to film and make? A day.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like I guarantee you, yeah, people will bitch and moan in the beginning, maybe if you're like a diva super pro kind of vibe, but you're gonna be way more stoked doing that than having to kill yourself every single day. Like, you know what I mean?
And what I think people need to realize too, because I think BMX missed a gigantic opportunity with YouTube that they're just now trying to catch up on,
Mm.
because at the beginning of it, it was Adam LZ and whoever else, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, F Adam LZ and vlogs and all of this stuff," when they didn't
Yeah.
take into consideration, oh, wait a second, we're getting paid by Google to do this, not a bike company. We're not taking money from the industry. We're taking
Mm.
money from a big giant corporation to just make this easy video that takes 1 day to make and put it
Yeah.
on the internet. We could take advantage of that and do more cool stuff like what you're doing, because as soon as this USL BMX YouTube channel blows up, like it inevitably will with the amount of work and the types of things you're putting into it, you're going to
Mm.
have income coming in from that. That's going to make it even easier to do cooler things. And if BMX as a whole recognizes this, which I
Yeah.
think they have, because a lot of companies are posting on YouTube, and our BMX is posting stuff constantly because it, I mean, not because, but like it has a return on it that is sometimes very little effort. As soon as people realize that, you're gonna be
Mm.
like, wow, a whole new thing that we can take advantage of rather than taking from BMX industry money.
100%. I was actually on a phone call with an agent today that one of the writers put me in contact with, and this dude's done work with like Apple and Rockstar, and like
Mm,
he did some stuff with the bakery and Kaczynski back in the day. And he reps athletes, but he also reps kind of media companies and events. And the amount of funding he was telling me he would get for events like the vitamin water contest and stuff like that, he was just talking about it like it was chump change, like he's just raised way more in the past kind of thing. Um, that's just crazy to me. So I'm gonna be working with him too in the future. And my dream world, it would be, hey, let's go on this trip. Find us a dope sponsor that we're actually down with. Like a cool coffee brand or a cool GoPro or something.
mm-hmm.
They fund the trip, presented by GoPro, but maybe it's like a shadow video or something,
Yeah,
and it's a perfect amount where we're pushing BMX. We get the budget. Everybody wins. You know what I mean?
100%. And I think anyone who would whine about that in the corporate side of it just doesn't get it.
Yeah. But again, it's not about them, right? Because they're not the ones. I mean, they're pushing production, but they're not the ones spending money, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is super awesome. I feel like we probably should have talked about USL BMX first, maybe, but we should probably get to what is USL BMX in the first place.
It's BMX media, contests, and events, man. That's all I could say. I just want it to be a hub. I want it to be a hub of this awesome content aimed towards, like I said, people that are actually spending money and aim towards making it look cool and aim towards on, showing personality. Just I don't know. I feel like we just don't have that right now. I want something like I hate to compare us to skateboarding, but I look up to the Barracks a lot. I think they're really cool.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of micro series they do on their channel and the big games of like skate or the pros versus Joes, and I just think it's awesome. I just want it to be something like that, something where it's like we'll always have something to look forward to because of this little corner in BMX kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it kind of fills a gap that there really wasn't anything there, and hasn't been for quite a while.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, we're already planning our next event, so it's like full steam ahead kind of thing. Grant's gonna go on trips. I can't go on trips, unfortunately, really too much, but we have a good system in place between Grant and the agent and everything. It'll be really cool.
That's super awesome, and obviously I think it's been made obvious what the inspiration behind it was, but if you could put it into a sentence or two, what like inspired you to make this happen? And if is it you who's like running the show?
Yeah, it's just me. I don't have like a superior or anything or someone to answer to. It's just me, and then I got to edit a lot for input in terms of who's popping, who's not, who do I avoid, what's the status of this brand or that. But yeah, it's just me, and then obviously all the brands making it happen, and then grant filming. But yeah, small team, but we're getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess if you could put it in words
Mhm.
specifically what the inspiration first the first spark that was like, "Oh, we got to do this."
I just wanted something new to look at, that I actually liked watching. I just kind of I wanted to be able to watch something cool and easy to consume, and there wasn't really any new stuff coming out. I just found myself kind of watching the throwback game of bikes or like the games of rail I did with Sabrosa a couple years ago. So it was just I just want to make cool content again. And yeah, that's about it. It's super simple. It's not crazy.
I love it.
Does that answer
It's
it? I don't know.
what's that?
Does that answer it? I don't know if
Yeah,
you want to like
absolutely. I mean,
epic
the
answer or
your
something.
answer is your answer.
Yeah.
I think it's such a needed thing. I think so many people are going to get stoked on it, and I think that you're going to really, as soon as you do do things like games of bike and things that are like more relatable, I guess you could say, than maybe a skate park edit. As soon as you start doing things like that too, people are going to even more so get on board because
Yeah.
it brings it from right now it's this unobtainable. We got the 10 of the best dudes in BMX doing this contest, which is awesome to watch, but like a game of bike is like, oh, we I do this at the skate park with my friends.
We're actually looking to find the perfect. We're renting a set for the game of bike, so I'm just kind of trying to lock in where it's going to take place. But I think mid-January to late January, we're going to be launching a game of bike like no one's ever seen before. It's going to have a really cool twist on it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's cool that you're down for that too, because it's exactly what we're working on, kind of thing
Yeah.
for next. Yeah,
I think it's just I think it's a lot of what people like to watch. I mean, yes, people love to watch crazy edits, but at the same time, I find just as much enjoyment in watching Adam LZ play a game of bike against Stevie Churchill or somebody, you know?
yeah, 100%. And then it's like those little moments that happen so quickly that kids would just love to see. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Uh, and it really just does so much for the rider. But yeah, yeah, I'm super stoked on everything we got planned for sure.
I think a way you we talked about spitballing back and forth. Well, this is a spitball at you. I think a
Yeah.
way you could get a lot of people stoked too is if there was some way that a viewer could get involved, like make it to where they end up getting to play a game of bike against this person because they've shown that they're capable, and there's people out there who are definitely capable.
That's another thing we wanted to do is do like are you familiar with the Pros versus Joes, the Barrick series?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's like, yeah, it's 10 of the top pros and then 10 of like the most underrated AMs kind of thing, like guys on their way up, or like those kids you see on Instagram that are super good that just, are just randomly living in Arizona killing it, but no one knows who they are. We're looking at another event is a skate park where Ethan actually filmed his blow up the park contest entry, where we want to get 10 pros and 10 kind of like either up and comers or like you see them on Instagram, they're really good, but no one like those 2,000, 3,000 follower kind of kids that are just
Mm-hmm.
killing it, and put them against each other. So it'd be like a tournament game of bike kind of thing where it's like the 10 pros and the 10 amps play, and then you work your way down like bracket style.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, like some random kid on Instagram that's doing like one-handed crank flip ices or something, like him going against like someone like Garrett or something, that's not his steez. Obviously, Garrett's a superior rider when comparing him to anyone, but it would just be a fun dynamic. That kid's gonna be stoked on life just to be riding with Garrett. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
100%. And that brings up stuff like if you do some kind of road fulls type thing, imagine like posting, because obviously you're filming these things ahead of time, but imagine posting on Instagram, hey people, we're going to be at this skate park today and we're going to do a game of bike against this team of people against whoever proves that they're worthy of being who shows up and is worthy.
yeah, no, totally. Yeah, there's just so many possibilities, and they're not rigid. This isn't a rigid thing we're working with. It's very loose. It's very flexible. Idea comes to our head. That's the thing. Back to what I said earlier. I'm down to try it. If it doesn't work, who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like I have a pretty good sense of what works and what doesn't in terms of media. Um, but yeah, I'm just down to try anything. And I do want to produce video parts though. Like I really like video parts. I don't know if you ever watch my Common Crew vlogs, but you know who Murray Laubser is?
I know the name, yeah.
Yeah, he's like really good. He's Odyssey and Sundays. He had the Ender section in at ease. He's from South Africa. He came and stayed with us when I was doing the Common Crew thing for like 2 weeks, right? And we filmed a part, and there's no bike distro out there, right? There's nothing. He came with 3 frames because the frames he had, he would just weld in his garage, and he just snapped them like they were skateboard decks. Like, oh yeah, that's why I brought three, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
It's crazy because there's nothing out there. Anyways, we filmed the whole part, but I kind of vlogged the entire process of filming the part. So you have like the really new school side of it, and then the really core, like we're out here filming a part, like you
Yeah.
can't shit about this, you know what I mean? Um, and then by the time his part came out on the Comic Crew channel, it did really good. Murray like quadrupled his following on Instagram, and then I actually left for a cruise the day after his video came out, and then he called me on the cruise saying, "Yo, dude, like Odyssey and Sunday saw the video, and I guess they were following along all the vlogs, so they kind of knew what kind of kid he was, you know, and it's a
Yeah.
little he's a good kid, so they hooked him up on both sponsors at once. And I'm pretty sure they didn't even have a distro out in South Africa when they hooked him up. So it was just like it showed the power of kind of combining the best of both worlds, showing this dude's personality, what he's like to work with, showing that he's a good guy, and also showing that he's going in for a badass video part that no one could hate on. It just really like it's a good concept in mind that I'm just still blown away that no one's doing it. So I want to start doing those again as well.
Yeah. I think the reason, or maybe a reason, that that's kind of stuff doesn't happen as much is because of the ease of access that a lot of these people have to the people that they do things with. Like our BMX does stuff with Nathan Williams and Demarcus Paul and
Hmm.
whoever else is really local to them all the time, and
Hmm.
it's easy to do that. So it's easy to like own to not only but work a lot with the people who are really easy to work with.
Hmm.
So
Totally.
just I no matter what you're doing, I feel like the amount of effort that you put into it is
Mhm.
what shows in the end. And putting that much effort into something like you did with Murray, did I say that right? Murray,
Yeah, I call
Murray.
it Murray. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
with him, the amount of effort that you put into doing something with him helped him get further, and to see more of that with other people like that is just, it's so needed.
Hmm. Yeah, and it helped the brand. And then you look at the views and the impressions collectively, and it's you have 6 vlogs, each one with 20,000 views, and his edit with like 80K, 100K. That's going to be way better than dropping an edit of Murray randomly when no one knows him, and it sits at 12K, even though the writing's the same kind of thing, you know?
Right.
So it's just basic marketing. It's not, like I said, nothing we're doing is crazy. It's the funny part, you know, nothing is mind blowing. It's just kind of you look at it omnisciently and you're like, all right, get rid of any cool guy opinion of what's whack or what's cool. Get rid of all those kinds of opinions and look strictly at the return. And it's clear as day what you should and shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good approach that
Mhm.
definitely should be used more often, you
Yeah,
could
I
say.
mean, screw it, man. I'm stoked it's not being used because I can do it now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, dear, that's exactly it, and that's what makes things successful when people recognize that there's a need for something that isn't there, and then they capitalize on it and make it happen. And I'm really glad that it was you and you created USL BMX, and it wasn't somebody who was just gonna half-ass it.
Hmm.
Like when I had that conversation, people were like, "Why don't you just do it?"
Hmm.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I would love to do that, but I don't have the time, I don't have the access, I don't have the resources." And
Hmm.
so nothing ever came of it. And
Yeah.
and I'm just glad that it wasn't like somebody tried to do it and then did it the wrong way, or did it in a
Mhm.
way that turned companies off of the idea entirely.
I mean, hey, the video parts aren't out yet. I could still fuck this up. You never know.
You
So
definitely could, but you got 10 big companies involved without even like it sounds like you didn't even have to convince them. So
yeah, they're pretty down. Yeah, they're cool dudes. Yeah. And I
I'm
think it's a good year for BMX too. It's like everybody's sold out, so they have a couple extra $100 lying around to do something cool.
right. Yeah, it's kind of like the perfect storm and the perfect timing to get out there and do something like this, because the other aspect of it is not very many people are on trips, so they're around. They're not they're not necessarily gone for 2 weeks and you got to figure out, oh, this guy's back at this time, and Grant, whatever company wants Grant to go on this trip to film,
Hmm.
whatever.
Well, plus too, my schedule like it got way less hectic because of COVID. I mean, I have a pretty lax schedule normally, but it got to the point where I felt like I had to just do something for my mental health as well because I just had so much free time at a certain point. Because I work from home, so I was just kind of going crazy, just on the couch 4 or 5 hours a day, just going down pointless rabbit holes on YouTube that I was getting nothing out of, kind of thing, just bored all day. Um, so I was just like, I need to occupy my mental space, and I like doing this, and I miss doing this, and I guess I was bored at home, and there was no new content I really liked, digesting aside from video parts. But yeah, it was kind of a perfect storm. It all lined up, how you said.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I definitely appreciate it all, and I think and I hope that it is successful that it feels like it's going to be.
so everybody says, man, I'm nervous about it. You never know. Until it's out there, you never know. I'm hoping people watch it. I'm hoping people vote. I'm hoping people are down to support the brand in the future. Um, I would like to get to a certain point where we can start giving back to sponsors as well, not just asking them for funds. I mean, we're giving back with content, but I want to be able to fund travel and stuff like that. I want to go halves, and I'm trying to serve. I'm not just trying to take. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's that's the kind of the opposite of what you see a lot of in the world in general. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people who are out to get what they can and not give as much back.
Yeah, totally. And that's just such a short term win. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's just no point in doing that because you're gonna spend a bunch of energy doing shady stuff. You're kind of screwing someone over, kind of thing. But you're not really giving them anything back. And then what happens? It all falls apart in the end, anyways. You might as well just do it right.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. And kind of comes with this social media culture. It feels like everybody's out to just take advantage of things. So it's exciting to see something different.
Yeah, sweet. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. And I mean, I'm stoked, man. I'm good at looking at everything in the positive. Like, hell yeah, social media is making everybody shitty. That's my perfect time to stand out as a not shitty person. You know what I mean? That's
Mm-hmm.
all about perception. So I'm just stoked they're down, man. I'm stoked to be talking to these dudes again because I wasn't in BMX for like 2 years. So I'm just stoked to be back in it. I'm stoked to just be, I don't know, stoked to be in it. Can't really put it any other way.
There's
It's just dope.
definitely nothing like this, and I'm just excited. That's all I can really say with that.
Yeah, I mean, I still got like 4 video parts to edit. I got my whiteboard here, or 5 actually. So it's still crunch time for me too. So I mean, I'm sure I'll make it in time, but it's kind of funny. It's a bit of an adrenaline rush, giving myself so much content to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just do that to myself, and it ends up in all-nighters and stuff like that. But I like it, man. It's like when riders get psyched up for a trick and they're like psyching themselves out. It's like that's kind of me. I like doing that, giving myself way too much work, and then seeing if I could do it.
And then staying up until 6 o'clock in the morning, like today, and
Oh, dude, I fell asleep 4 hours ago for like 2 hours. So I stayed up till like 11:30 because after I made all the interviews, I started editing Colin's part. Um, and then Devin's part's not even chopped up yet. I need to find a song for him. It's just so much work to do, but it's fucking fun, dude. It feels like you're in the trenches, you know what I mean?
yeah, 100%. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, that's all just the things that add up and work together to make it what it is.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
At that, I feel like we've kind of exhausted what there is to talk about with USL, unless you have anything else.
I just want to put it out there. We're doing a game of bike on the roof of a skyscraper in downtown Los Angeles. So I'm just gonna put it out there, put it into the universe. It's gonna happen one way or another. These brands are already down, but look forward to that because the second this contest is over, it's not gonna be much of a relaxed time. It's gonna be something even crazier. Hopefully, even crazier riders if that's even possible. Maybe a bigger lineup. So look out for that too.
What?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
oh,
next.
what?
Yeah, and that wasn't so hard to do either. I mean, it sounds crazy, but you just rent out a skyscraper roof. It's like $500 for the day or something like that, and
That's
just
not that bad.
it's literally so dope because it's you can either do a game of bike at a skate park, which is fine, cool, but I feel like we don't have the budgets to pay these guys like big prizes or have the craziest production drone helicopter team.
Yeah.
So to make up for that, the concept has to be really dope. And that's kind of my mentality is let's make the concept as crazy. Like the whole concept is the 10,000 foot high game of bike. You know, that's going to be like the title of it. It's not actually 10,000 feet, but it's just cool. You know, it has that appeal where it's like, oh, it's just a game of bike, but it feels like I'm watching a damn movie. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what I want it to be like. Just picture that drone shot, man, through the freaking skyscrapers in downtown LA and everybody's playing
It's
bike.
gonna feel like a episode of Fear Factor.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, but yeah, and we have a bunch of other ideas too, like the pros versus Joes, and we're working on something with the source too for a series we might do through them. I can go on and on, but yeah, I think we exhausted it, so we can go on to the next thing. If you got something else,
Dude, I mean, honestly, I just want to know more, learn to get to know you a little bit more because this is the first real conversation we've ever had. So, like, do you have a video production background outside of BMX that you were working on before this or something?
I went to school for video production and dropped out to do BMX full time. That's when I was working for the Come Up, and then after Common Crew, I started a marketing agency. So we would do like paid advertising and media buying for brick and mortar businesses. So like those sponsored ads that follow you around on your Instagram and Facebook feed.
Mm-hmm.
Produce all those. We do the media buying. We do everything. And that was going really well. But then with COVID, obviously, that got wiped out because no one's open right now. And I hated it anyway, so it was like the biggest blessing. But that taught me a lot about marketing and even more about production and that was just crazy. I felt like I needed to go through that to make this as cool as it can be. You know what I mean? Because I feel like in BMX, I was very limited to doing things the BMX way. And there's just so many more tools that I was able to add to my arsenal or whatever you want to call it. So I feel like now being back in BMX with that whole, media buying and owning an agency experience, it's just going to put me at a big advantage too,
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
it's crazy how BMX parallels like every single other thing you might get involved with.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff too is just time management and project management. Because when I was doing BMX, we'd go out, 15 dudes at a college campus, and I'd be working on 9 videos for all their sponsors. And we work at a very slow pace because no one wants to write the same stuff. It was a very bad way to do it. It sounds fun in theory, right? But it's a bad way to execute production. Um, and this has taught me, having my agency taught me about time management, a whole new level of marketing, obviously, and also just handling employees, making people stoked, keeping, that, what's it called? Not
Morale?
morale, yeah, keeping morale up, making sure people are happy, just it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot, and it taught me that I can't do everything by myself as well. That's
Yeah.
why even with this, I'm really focused on two things. Number one is building a team. So Grant, I want to hire an editor too. If he won't be able to do it, if he's filming too much, an agent, a bunch of stuff. I'm building out a team. I'm not thinking so much as a BMX filmer anymore. And then number two is the systems. How do we get X amount of reoccurring revenue a month so we can forecast and make sure we can do 4 more events this year kind of thing. It's just my brain works a little differently now. Maybe it comes with maturity too, but I just feel like going through that really is going to help me a lot and help make this really cool, because
Yeah,
I'm not at a
absolutely.
break anymore filming videos.
I think that it just makes me feel like BMX in the industry of BMX is a giant group of people who like first are BMX riders and then kind of have to figure out the rest. Like obviously it doesn't apply to everyone, but you're
Yeah.
showing an example of like how you went and you completely elevated yourself in a different realm, and then you're bringing that in and using it to be as efficient and as like smart about things as possible.
Mhm.
Whereas, I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit or anything. It's just kind of what feels like the reality of things are, where it's like you're a pro BMX rider, you want to start a company, then you have to learn about all the aspects of BMX rather than, oh, I went to school to be a business guy, which I'm sure some people did. But
Yeah. I mean, you're not the first person to say this either. Some of the other brands I was talking to and riders, they kind of said the same thing. It's just a bunch of dudes that love BMX, running BMX, which is cool, but it definitely will go a long way to have someone in there who, not knows what they're doing. I don't mean it like that, but that has some kind of background. And I'm not even saying I'm qualified to be the best guy or whatever. I'm just saying I saw myself before I took the break and really went heavy into marketing and like time management and like just self-help, for a couple of years. And I see myself now and I can honestly see like I would never be able to handle this 2 years ago kind of thing, 2, 3 years
mm-hmm.
ago. What I'm projecting in the future, I would never, my brain wouldn't even work that way. I wouldn't know how to handle revenue streams or employees or just, so I'm just stoked, man. I'm just stoked to be back. I feel like I've been like training in a cave for years, like some Batman stuff, ready to freaking come back and do my thing, as best as I can and get the brand stoked and the rider stoked.
You built your Iron Man suit in the cave.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I'm ready. And I'm down to crash too, man. That's the thing. I'm down for it. Like, if it goes, like, I'm not afraid of anything going to shit. That's the thing. Another thing I learned over those 2 years is just before my ego or my self-esteem maybe wasn't as high. I didn't want things to go bad, so I wouldn't try as many things. Versus now, it's like, dude, I could give a fuck. Like, it's not gonna go bad because I have a good head on my shoulders, but I'm just down to try anything, and it's not the end of the world if something goes bad. I just know the next one will be better. So like nothing, I have no resistance. I'm just like
Yeah.
going, going, going. So I'm just stoked to bring that into BMX, I guess.
And you're kind of in a position where things can go bad, it seems, and you're going to
Mhm.
keep pushing forward to the next thing. Whereas I feel like with some companies are in a position where they might not be able to afford to invest in something that could go bad or to try something new that would just completely fail. Like, I think that's the conversation that comes up with parts and things of like we can't try this and this because of how much it costs and the fact that it could fail, and it would we like just can't afford to put all that money in and have it completely be for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, a brick and mortar product versus, a piece of content is totally different worlds. Luckily, I'm on the content side of things, so I can have that mentality where I'm like, yeah, fuck it, dude, next video will be better. But I'm not paying for a $15,000 tire mold.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And I think it helps to be in a position like that with something like this where if you make a video and it flops, okay, maybe we don't do that again and we try something else.
This could flop, but like I said, I'm already thinking of the next one, so it doesn't even like I'm putting my all into this. I'm pulling all nighters and stuff, but it's like, if it flops, it's kind of like, well, next one's gonna be better. Why did it flop? How can we improve? It doesn't stop there, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's rad. What's that thing under the TV? Is that a robot?
Oh yeah, my dad, he makes robots. It's like it's made out of like scrap metal. It has like an old Polaroid for the head and stuff. Yeah, my dad made that.
That's pretty sick.
He gave it to me from. We just moved into this place a couple months ago, so he just gave it to me as like a home warming gift or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I guess before your 2 year break, you were heavily involved with the Common Crew. Give me your background on those things. And you said you worked for the Come Up and all of that.
Like how like how background do you want to go? Like what do you mean?
As far as you want to take it, I guess not necessarily like, oh, I started to ride BMX or got involved with BMX.
Yeah.
This was the first thing ever, but
The come up, I can't remember how it happened. I know Alfredo was my point of contact, Alfredo Mancuso. Um, he was my point of contact and my boss when I was doing that. I don't remember how it got started, like in terms of me working there, but that was the closest thing to full time I had for BMX. And then that's also when I realized I hated having like a boss,
Mm-hmm.
because there was like a media cap because there's budgets and everything and stuff like that. And I don't know, I hated not having 100% control. And Alfredo gave me 99% control,
Yeah.
but I'm knowing I need 100%, So I just didn't want to do that anymore. But that was fun, while it lasted. I think that was a couple months. That's kind of when I started vlogging and doing stuff like that and broke out of my shell. And then the Common Crew thing, I kind of just started doing the vlogs over there. And then, I mean, that just got hectic just because people weren't down with it. And that just was weird. That was always going to kind of crumble. It was never set up for success, especially looking at it now. I can see mistakes that everyone involved kind of made. Um, but yeah, I mean, Common Crew was super dope while it lasted. Did a DVD, had a successful YouTube channel. I mean, I don't know if I'm going, is that background or am
Were
I just
you
recapping?
were you involved with the Common Crew from the start, like filming for like the DVD and all that?
Yeah, the DVD was I guess my idea. Originally, we were gonna copy the Colt Interbike video. Do you remember that video? Like when
Mm-mm.
Colt came out, it was like a 17-minute mixtape. Some of their dudes each had like minute and a half parts. And I'll send you the screenshot. I can find it. But before everyone had smartphones, we would talk in a Facebook group, like a private Common Crew Facebook group, and like we'd only let kids in if like, okay, you're down, like you know what I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
you. And I put a post in that group saying, "Oh, we have to do our own version of this, whatever, whatever." I was kind of telling people how long their parts were going to be, which is super funny. I was like 15 or 16. Um, and then everyone was down, and that was supposed to be a month-long project that turned into a 5-year DVD. So that was like the very moment it got conceived was that moment. And that was old, man. Like one of the first Monster Mash clips we filmed, me and Julian Artiega, we like ripped out a fence so Ethan could crank arm like a three stair. And now he's doing like whatever. So you can only imagine how long we were filming for that, right? Um,
Wow.
but yeah, I was in it from the start. Did I would say 80% of the media for that and everything involved with that. And then Sauce will go more on the trips and stuff like that. I've been wifed up forever, so I'm not really like trip guy kind of thing. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, Sauce would do that kind of stuff for him too.
Man, that's crazy. I remember I was at the Nora Cup where it was nominated,
Oh yeah.
and I remember seeing all those kids going crazy and stuff at Nora Cup.
Yeah, I couldn't even pull up to that. I had other obligations, so but yeah, Sauce went on my behalf and all that stuff, and I don't know. I think we should have won, but that's just me. Okay.
I was not as I didn't pay attention as much to BMX as I do now back then. So I can't even remember what won or what else was
Yeah,
nominated. I didn't even watch. I honestly, I'll be totally honest with you. I haven't even seen all of the parts in the video.
yeah, totally. No, I get you, man. I get it. It's kind of cool though that with age, I've gotten more into it though. I think that's really dope. It's kind of what's happening to me too. I've
Yeah.
had a lot of it for a couple of years now. It's just like I fucking can't get enough of this. You know what I mean? Which is sick.
Yeah, the BMX news thing really kind of does it. And I don't know, growing up I just kind of didn't care to watch videos as much. Like it obviously it's ramped up. It's been a pretty much an exponential curve to where I'm at now with watching videos and things
Yeah.
because it was like nothing in the beginning, only a few videos, and then now I watch like a lot, almost everything, I guess.
Yeah, that's dope. I try to do it as much as I can, but like I said, I feel like there's not really a hub where it's all located at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Ed too. We might even do a blog on the site too, and just post everything cool that's on there, regardless if someone's paying us for the sponsorship or not. You
Yeah.
know, um, just to have a hub, hire a blogger or something. But that's
Put
just for dumb.
anonymous comments on it.
Oh, 100%, dude. Talking people would do. That was the best.
How funny! Like I remember I used to think that that was like the most toxic, like worst thing in the world, and now I see where we're at, where everyone's making meme pages and stuff because that's their outlet of saying what they really think while it's a joke at the same time.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I'd rather have a hate comment than like a meme page because I feel like a meme page is almost it comes off as more toxic to me just because they have some sense of authority. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
100%.
And when they say something, their followers are reacting and they're diehard followers. And yeah, it's a joke, but I'm sure I would be bummed if they posted something on there. You know what I mean?
Well, and
Like,
they're teaching kids like who have no idea that this is supposed to be a joke that they
yeah,
think is serious. So they
yeah.
go to their friends and then they say this and it becomes like a real life thing at that point instead of being a joke.
Well, it's like, and also it's like, well, define joke. You know what I mean? It's like you're saying it anonymously. You're not saying it to the person. You
Yeah.
know, you're saying it to the public, and you're anonymous. It doesn't sound like a joke to me, but I mean, this shit's funny, dude. Like, we'll just say what we're talking about. Team lead, right? That's what we're talking
Well,
about.
there's a
Yeah.
bunch of them right now, actually.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah,
those
there's
are what
a
I follow Team
bunch.
lead, and like, I follow it. They follow me too, which is scary. But it's fucking scary, dude. You know what I mean? You don't want to get put on there. Like I felt so bad for Asanagi when he was doing the vlogs and he was just getting roasted and like you could say, "Oh fuck it, I don't care. I'm doing my thing," but it's like it sucks to see your whole community clowning on you, especially when it's from an anonymous source with authority. I'm all for anonymous hate, like a YouTube comment. You're bound to get that, but when it's a source with authority, with like thousands of followers, and people are following this page, literally just waiting, drooling to roast someone in the comments whenever they post something. I don't know, man. I think it does more bad than good, but I feel like it's a necessary evil. Like we need to have those meme pages. You know what I mean? They're not going anywhere, so
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I've been on
I
there a
mean,
few times myself.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
funny.
luckily it's never been negative.
Is what?
It's never been a negative thing, luckily.
Yeah, but I
Either
mean,
way though, I mean, I totally see where you're coming from with that and uh if you didn't know, BMX Union is like the only one that's a legitimate like they post everything. So
oh, I
like
didn't know.
regardless of sponsorship, which there are sponsorships on there,
Huh.
it's just everything is still posted on there. It's not like there is like a I guess you could say there are standards,
Yeah.
but they're more in level of like riding than they are in like who's cool or what's cool or who
Yeah.
sponsors or anything like that.
So, what's your opinion on in terms of a BMX blog in general? Because I kind of have this theory where, link in bio kind of killed a lot of that. There's not really I mean, there's a point, you want that hub, but like, what's kind of your opinion? And like, do you think they're necessary? Do you think they're worth it, like they were back in the day?
Well, I mean, I've got to watch the roller coaster that has been like the blog things because I first started. I mean, I've been making videos forever, but the first video
Yeah.
that I made that was posted anywhere was posted to the Come Up in 2011, and
Mm-hmm.
then I made Lip Lords in 2013, which like kind of blew up in my eyes, and
Mm-hmm.
I've always paid attention to analytics like very closely, and you could see that past like 2015, 16, all the way up to today, you can see the effect that comes from being on a website and how much you actually got, how many views actually came from that. And it's gone from, I think it was peaked even more before 2011, but it's done nothing but just like go downhill since then. So I think they're necessary. I think they're always going to be necessary because there's always going to be people who are searching for that hub of information.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at the same time, this like the effect that they have kind of means it necessitates a need for quality
Mm-hmm.
because if you're not really getting like if they're not bringing a lot of attention and traffic to things and the main people who are going there are the people who want the information, then you got to give good information and give good content and those things. So I think that might be part of where the exclusivity of like dig in our BMX, like
Mm-hmm.
obviously there is a level of what they're going to post and what they're not going to post.
Yeah, 100%. I remember the come up had like the oven back in the day that sauce was
Oh
running,
yeah.
and that was just all the am dudes.
Yep.
Man, shout out to the come up, man. I can't believe it's gone. That helped us so much, dude. Like with Common Crew, it really birthed us into what it was. It really helped jumpstart us in the beginning, and it was just so dope. We used to pull up to people's houses and just go through the come up and just binge videos, and now it's not like that, man. Everything's just so boom, boom, like 15-second clips, 15-second clips, 15-second clip. It's almost like everything's kind of floating, and I want to like contribute to pulling some of it down and being like, okay, you can actually come back and find this later. You can actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this here, you can watch this more than once, like because that's the thing. I had a conversation with my buddy the other day. It's like Instagram's taking over, but no one's calling up the homies to crowd around their iPhone and look at Instagram clips together. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
That
yeah,
happens. Uh, I have that happen sometimes, but it's not like
well,
calling people up.
at a session, you might be
Yeah.
or in the parking lot, while you're like having, oh, look at this dude. But it's like I'm talking about before you go riding back in the day, it was go on the come up or go on YouTube even today, watch a couple solid parts or kind of that mid-level content to get you hyped, and then you go ride. Like you're not all getting on one person's phone before you go ride and scrolling through some dude's profile kind of thing. You know what I mean? For the
Yeah,
most part.
100%. I mean, I never experienced that's because I didn't watch videos that much. I never experienced the I'm to where I know a couple of friends would like get together and watch DVDs and stuff and be psyched on it. And I can remember being in my buddy's apartment, sitting on his couch, watching Demolition's Last Chance and being like bored.
So what changed? I'm so confused.
What's that?
What changed? What went from like this is boring to I watch it every day kind of thing?
Well, it's mostly the fact that I make BMX news and I want to give people what is the best. And even then, I don't have enough time to really put in like effort that I feel like you really should, where I'm like watching every single thing and like putting in the work a BMX media page should be. I'm kind
Yeah.
of just going on to the sites and being like, okay, these are the top riders that had a video this week. This is what I think people would care the most about. So I'm
Yeah.
sure there's things I'm missing from like,
Yeah. So BMX news led to you watching more videos, not the other way around, pretty much.
yeah, and it's mostly just on Friday. I save it for when I'm making the video. I pull up everything and then I watch it before I talk about it.
That's dope, dude. Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's just like why I film jams and other stuff that happen around here. It's this, if I don't do it, who's going to?
Yeah, exactly, 100%. God, filming jams are tough, man. I hated doing that back in the day.
Doing what?
Filming jams, that
Oh
shit was
yeah,
it's like the worst, but
I just filmed that USA BMX freestyle contest at Woodward last week, 2 weekends ago,
uh
and I legit stood on that same drop in for the foam pit thing for the entire day almost. Luckily, they ran it so efficiently that there was like 40-minute gaps between classes that they like didn't plan for because of how efficient they were being. So I got to go
yeah.
and like ride a little bit and like chill out, but it was just I mean, I just kind of when it comes to a jam or a contest, I just kind of go expecting not to ride until like the end of it, or if there's like something I really want to be involved in.
Yeah, I mean, I filmed like a ton of the full factory like March Madness jams. I filmed probably like six of them, and it
Yeah.
was like bikes staying in the car kind of thing because there's so much going on. Yeah, it's tough, dude. I also did like a lot of the Vans contest in the HV park.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that, man. You kind of just find your quarter pipe deck and you just stand there, and then that's the day. That's the whole day.
Literally, I filmed the one that we were at last year, the championship. I
Uh,
filmed all of that too, and that's kind of why I keep it low production and just use my phone, so that I
uh,
don't have to like really dig into it the way that because like I'm getting 500 views on this. I'm not gonna run around the whole place with a real big camera and
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Feel that.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where it came from, I guess. Hmm. You got any other questions for me?
No, man. I was about to say I really appreciate your swag. It reminds me of early 2000s, and it makes me
Oh, I wore
happy.
this on purpose.
Uh, oh yeah, it's funny.
It was at
What's
the,
that? What's the story behind the swag?
what's that?
What's the story behind your swag?
Well, I don't know. I guess this is when I started riding, and I was the most psyched on Orchid and Little Devil, and just like getting the Dan's comp catalog and circling all the shirts that I wanted in there and being
Yeah.
hyped on it. And I guess I just haven't cared at all since
Mhm.
that time about clothing or anything like that. So like I've got the random odd shirt here and there that I got for free somehow.
Yeah.
And then I had that clothing sponsor with Nowhere for 4 years or something like that. So I was literally only wearing that. And then now I pretty much only wear Park Tool and uh, Alienation and
Oh,
Ride
wow.
Concepts shirts because I just like, I don't know, I just don't care about my shirts that much.
Yeah, I mean, my whole outfit costs $5 right now. I'm like a Walmart addict, man. I just go to Walmart and it's just like I could give a fuck about my swag too.
Well, Walmart is getting better.
Dude, this is the best shirt I own and it was $3.
There you go.
Not to
Like
plug them,
the
but
quality is going up. Somebody said he's just stuck in his emo stage. It's pretty much it.
yeah.
I
We
found
all have,
BMX. I got obsessed with it, and I'm trying to just live, make that time period as long as humanly possible.
who's that who's that one dude style cyclist, style Cyrus? He's that one
Oh,
dude that
you're talking about Hamilton?
yeah, yeah, Hamilton. That's I couldn't think of his name. Yeah, he's like dresses all old too.
I
A
don't know
throwback.
if he influenced me at all or not. I used to, because I lived in Columbus for college for 4 years. We'd ride like every other day.
I totally forgot you had live viewers on here too. Because I just have the Skype on.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. There's a chat in here. There's they're not talking too much about the oh yeah the bike shop T2. Somebody brought that up. The shop that I ride for, but
oh yeah.
somebody's talking about adding a Instagram Rider of the Week spotlight on my news videos that like he wants to make.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I'm way down for that. Like, have you thought of having like contributors, like how props had contributors from like because obviously Grant can't be in Ohio or Florida or whatever while everything's going on. Have you thought about that side of things at all?
Yeah, so that's kind of the next step kind of thing is this like I said, going back to building a team, making sure it's a well-oiled machine, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've definitely thought about it a lot in terms of whether it's editors or bloggers or just people coming up with concepts. Like I think if we get to the point where we had someone really cool coming up with concepts like just as their full-time job, like it sounds kind of dumb, but damn, that'd be next level. You know what I mean? The
Bro,
stuff
I'll
that
do that job.
I'm saying, I feel like that's why I kind of wanted to reach out to you is because I feel like you kind of you have the pulse of BMX. You have your finger on the pulse in terms of what people want to see. You kind
Mm-hmm.
of have that younger soul. Um, so I think that's why I wanted to reach out to you. I feel like whatever you're down with, I feel like kids will probably be down with, kind of thing.
I appreciate that. I kind of figured out while I was at Woodward what my position and everything is. I feel like as much as I don't feel involved with the industry, I feel like my YouTube channel and what I'm doing is kind of a bridge between the BMX industry and just the dude who's out there riding his bike having fun with BMX.
And that's why I love your shit, dude. That's exactly why. It's like I have no sense of pressure or obligation or anything when I watch your content. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's digestible. It's like this dude is just loving it right right now. You know what I mean? Like when I see you sessioning at all those indoor parks and stuff, and you're doing all those crazy tricks, just coming up with stuff on the spot. It seems like I'm like, fuck yeah. I remember like playing bike and doing half cab lawnmowers to get Jacob Cable out kind of stuff back in the day. You know what I mean? It's like that's the kind of shit. Like it's a blast from the past. I feel like your Instagram's almost like your whole essence is kind of like a time capsule. I feel like
I thank you for that.
it's a compliment, dude. Yeah, that's why I fuck with you so hard. It's really cool.
One, thank you. Two, I need to see a half cab lawnmower as soon as possible.
Yeah, yeah, right. You'll have to bring that one back.
That is sick. Eddie says he's going to hit all around the world contest recaps.
Yeah, Eddie's down, man. Eddie's down to be part of it. He's already quoting me his day rate and shit. He's already like
That's
told me what I'm
awesome.
asking for. But yeah, Eddie's super down, and he has the HMC now, which is really cool. And that's another dude. Eddie's just about it. You know what I mean? That's why I like having him in my corner. And that's mad funny. Eddie is so into it. I'll ride Fullerton skate park sometimes with like him and like Robbie
Hmm.
in the morning, and I'll see Robbie asking Eddie like, "Yo, like who's hot right now?" You know what I mean? Who's the next cool dude kind of thing. And I'm like, damn, he just knows. And even for this contest, I asked Ed like, yo, here's like 20 dudes I'm thinking of, like trim the fat for me kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, this guy's dust. No, no way. Da, 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 da. This guy works. He just knows everything. He's like, I don't know. He's like
Yeah, I
just
got the impression from Eddie when I did one of these with him that he was the most down dude in all of BMX. Like, quitting his job to go on whatever trip that he went on, having the job he has now so that he can be like, hey, I'm going to be gone.
exactly. You ever see Terminator, with
The,
like
fir-
Skynet and stuff? You ever see the old Terminator movies?
the first one, I think.
Like Skynet is like the big AI thing that
Yeah.
like lifts everybody. That's literally Eddie, dude. But for BMX, like BMX is like AI oligarch kind of looking over everything. It's hilarious.
I feel like Eddie could have a really good YouTube channel.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot of stuff for the Common Channel back in the day, like the edits, or not the edits. The edit came out today. He did all the like the adventures and stuff for the Common Channel, and that did really good. But yeah, it's just hard to conceptualize stuff, and stay consistent though, especially when you work a job like he does, and he's a rider, bro. He loves riding.
100%. And yeah, I can totally relate with the job side of things and making it work.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and to me, I want it to be my job. So I'm just
Hmm.
everything I'm doing. I'm kind of like, all right, how can we be here full time in a year or a year or two? And that's why I'm going so hard with the production and all that stuff. So it's kind of like, how do I transition? It's what I want to do. I might as well go for it, kind of thing. Especially when everything else is closed right now. I can't even imagine if I were to go work for someone else or start some other job right now, aside from what I'm doing. I don't even know who's even hiring right now, so I might as well go with this because it's the only thing that's you know popping off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the people who take everything going on in the world right now and make something out of it are definitely like the people who see the opportunities and just go for it, like you said, because there's so many people who are just taking themselves and everything they do to a whole nother level, some because they have to and some
Mhm.
because the opportunity is there.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I think without COVID, I probably would have just been full time on my agency still, and not even have the time of day to think about what makes me happy, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, I mean, I'm stoked. It worked out how it did for sure.
absolutely. I mean, I get the impression that you're kind of like me and that you're just like, you find that thing that you want to make happen and then you literally live your life around it until you make it happen.
Yeah, 100%. It's like I don't even know what the alternative would be. Just like do something you don't like, and you could still get screwed over.
Yeah, no thanks.
I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of people who lost their jobs during COVID that took that job instead of pursuing their passion, for example. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I mean, you would have just ate shit a couple more years. You could have been doing what you loved, and you lost it all anyways, kind of thing. Might as well go for it. So,
I I'm right there with you.
yeah.
So
How is Ohio, by the way? Are you guys pretty locked down still?
uh well, let's see. We just got put into some, I don't even know right now to be honest with you, like masks are supposed to be mandatory every business that you go into or whatever, and with restaurants until you get to like your seat or whatever, or until you're eating. Rays, you have to have your mask on at all times,
Mhm.
but they haven't gone so far yet as to like shut more things or shut things down again. Oops.
Yeah.
Like there was a point in time where things were like actually shut down, but they haven't done that. I don't even know if the essential business thing is even still a thing here or not. I don't know if everything's just open, but masks are a thing.
Mhm.
Honestly, I don't know. I live in a town where like people, it's like half the people care and half the people care but don't care at the same time. So like half the
Yeah.
people are everybody, I mean, most people are wearing masks. I feel like at this point, the only people who aren't wearing masks are just the assholes who are like, I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And,
So,
but before that, it was just like, I mean, I'll admit it, I was not wearing them just because it was like, I'm not going close to people. Like, I just don't care.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, my doctor advised me not to wear one, so like I don't wear unless it's just required. Like I only will wear it if it's like I'm doing business with someone else. Like, oh, you want to shop at this restaurant? It's like, okay, if you require a mask as like an individual business, I'm gonna respect you, kind of thing. But
Exactly.
my doctor told me straight up, like, yeah, this is gonna do this, this, and this to you. So just wear it when like you absolutely have to, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of doing what he told me to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point of view on it now. Is like I don't go to stores that much anyways, so like I'm just gonna put it on for the 20 minutes that I'm at a store and then be done with it and not appear to be one of those jerks to everybody. Like you can, so it's so funny because the people who aren't wearing them around here are the people who are like you can very clearly tell they're like that guy. Like I'm not gonna do that. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I did notice where I was getting at with like the what it's saying. I live in a town like I'm in a town of like 26,000 people. I think so. Like, it's
Oh,
not huge, and you can really clearly see or feel the difference between like when you go to a big city. Like we
mhm.
went to Cleveland, and you could just feel the vibe difference.
Yeah, I would not want to be in a city right now, dude.
No.
That's crazy, man. I think cities are kind of they're dust, man. I think they're going to be a thing of the past, just because people are kind of realizing a lot of people can work from home, kind of thing. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
so many businesses are still operating just as fine. So, I mean, my end goal is I'm trying to get back to the country. You know, I want to end up on the farm and all that stuff. So I'm like super polar opposite of city life, but
Yeah.
I could never do it, dude. I wouldn't go to LA unless someone paid me. Like, no, man, I can't stand it over there. Honestly, it's just so dirty. I'm just like, ugh, why? Why
Yeah,
am
I
I here?
feel it. And
You
just
know?
the amount that you get the feeling just like nobody cares.
Uh-huh.
Like someone will run you over and not care about it. And like the smaller towns, people are always like smiling or saying hi or whatever. I've
Yeah.
experienced both because, like I said, I lived in Columbus for 4 years. Like I legit lived in downtown Columbus.
Uh-huh.
So then coming home is like I could never go back to living in a city ever.
Yeah. Well, dude, I live in Huntington Beach, which is, I mean, it's probably what 300,000 people or so, maybe a little less. So it's not LA, but it's definitely big.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we have like one skyscraper, but still. But then we took a trip, me and my girl, to Idaho earlier this year, and I was just like, fuck, man, like I love it out here. It's just so open. Your neighbors are farther away. It's just you almost appreciate seeing people more when you do see them
Mm-hmm.
versus like being sick of seeing people. And then I came back here and it was just like I couldn't do it. I never noticed how much concrete was around me because up there it's so green and like
Yeah.
even now, man, I'm trying to move out there eventually. Who knows?
Ohio's tight.
It's right next door, right? Or no, two over, Montana,
not
Ohio.
not too far.
Yeah, my buddy. You ever see that movie, like the Cleveland Abduction, about that dude who had the girls in his
I didn't
house?
see the movie, but I remember when that happened and whenever it was found out about. I remember all that. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, he knows Raymond Cruz. He's the guy who played like Tuco and like Breaking Bad, like the bald like Mexican narco guy.
Oh yeah.
He was the kidnapper when they made the Cleveland Abduction movie. He knows him pretty well, and like he spent some time in Cleveland doing some work. And he went to the house where like they filmed it all and everything. Like, so that's all I know about Cleveland. Not to talk bad about Ohio, but all I know is Cleveland and Jake Paul's from there. But and you know, so that's one good thing that I know so
Oh,
far.
I'm not even. I'm an hour away from Cleveland, so
Well, I mean Ohio in general. I mean, like that's all I know is like that fucking psychopath and Jake Paul. So
well, there you go. In the Christmas story.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, dude, putting Ohio on the map in a good way. I'm
Uh,
sure a ton of people have, but
what's that?
I'm sure a ton of people have. Just I don't know much about it, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those. I feel like in terms of BMX, because that's all I really like care about.
Yeah.
Ohio is super like slept on, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
There's a lot of amazing riders out here and stuff going on, and just the places to ride. Like Ray's is out here, Changa, I mean, is Changa, but then there's like several different sets of trails that are super awesome, and just a lot. There's a lot to offer here, and a lot of really great people too.
Yeah, I think even Rob Deerdeck is from Ohio, right?
Yeah,
And
he
I think
is.
first like safe spot, skate spot or whatever, like that was in Ohio too, stuff. Yeah, it seems I feel like a lot of people out there like they need something to do, so they end up being really good at it, kind of thing. Whereas like in the smaller town vibes, you know what I mean? You need to put your
Yep,
energy in thing versus being distracted by all the hustle and bustle kind of thing.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, dude. Anything else?
No, I think we're good. We definitely got to do one of these again. Maybe we can get Eddie on here too.
Yeah.
It'd be sweet. I would call him now, but then we'd be on here for another hour and a half.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry if I'm low energy, by the way. Like I said, I've slept 2 hours in the last 2 days, so I'm just like pretty
You're
fried.
all good. I'm low energy as well. I had the worst like stomach experience of my life earlier today.
Oh, really? What happened?
I don't even know how to explain it. And it's probably pretty gross for people who are watching. I don't care. I just started feeling weird at like 1:30. Came home, fell asleep, woke up, and it was just like pressure in my stomach.
Whoa.
And then all of a sudden, I was in the bathroom for like an hour, and it felt like every drink of water and all the water I've drank in for the last like drinking, all the water I've drank in the past 2 days didn't go into my bladder, it went into my digestive system.
Whoa.
It was weird, dude. And then when I came out of it and was like ending, I legitimately was sweating more than I sweat when I ride my bike. Like my shirt was
Oh,
completely soaked through and it was crazy. And then
disgusting, dude. Oh my God, it's terrible. I'm sorry.
I mean, it seems okay now. I think I ate something funny or I went hunting this weekend and we didn't have running water, so the hand washing situation wasn't the best. I might have eaten something after not cleaning my hands good enough. I don't know.
Damn, that's fucked.
Yeah, it was awful. But we're here. We're good. I was scared that it was gonna be like midway through this, and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but I gotta go to the bathroom.
Dude, I wasn't afraid I was gonna pass out, just like head on the keyboard kind of thing, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be worth it. It's coming out dope, so I'm stoked to put this out, you know.
Yep. We will definitely do it again. Eddie says he's down for a different day. Um, we could work something out where maybe we start at.
We were talking about doing like a USL live stream as well, but like just watching people's edits and doing like a live reaction, kind of how No Jumper did for like a week, or the come up was trying to do. Because
Mm-hmm.
me and Ed talk about videos all day long, and he's always watching videos, and educating me about it. So it could be a cool dynamic, like him explaining to me who's dope and like running me through it, kind of thing, and then have like a live experience with the audience. It's something else we're working on too.
Yeah, definitely. I when you told me about the idea that you sent me this morning, immediately the thought came to mind of doing like a live stream the second, or not second, like, but like the night that it came out, or
Yeah.
doing what you said.
I mean, whatever, however you want to approach it. So, I mean, whatever you want to do.
That's just kind of the decision to be made between do something so it can go live at the very second everything goes live, or do something that evening or night whenever it's already up.
Yeah, yeah, totally. As long as people vote, that's all I want. I just want people to vote. So we're aiming, I guess the goal for me to consider it successful, we're trying to get like 5,000 votes, because that to me is like proof of concept. Like, all right, we've interacted with a group of people. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, that was one thing I did want to ask you about that I totally forgot about. How is voting working?
It's pretty simple. It's just you put your name, your email, and it's a drop-down menu, and then you'll get an email saying thanks for voting, just to make sure you got it, and that's it. And then I built a little thing, a little system where every email kind of feeds into like a spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
It's filtered the spreadsheet by the writer chosen or whatever. Then we'll just tally them up that way, kind of thing.
Cool.
Or
So, uh, you just get one vote and that's it.
yeah, okay, is that yeah, so you might yeah, you do one vote, it'll be on uslbmx.com. We built like our own poll, so it's all no weird stuff. You don't need to verify it in your email like with the feast thing or whatever. I know a lot of people had issues with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just do that, and then obviously we're gonna be looking for duplicates and like spam emails kind of stuff. Like it has to be legit, you know what I mean?
Right.
I care about being involved in it. I don't want people to spam or like vote just because. I want them to be like, I'm stoked to be a part of this. Like, my voice matters in this.
Absolutely. That feast thing really highlighted the loopholes and the pitfalls of the like public voting thing, where it was just like it felt like people had like people who deserved to be winning had like very few votes, and then other people who just clearly put in the work to spread the word had like over thousands of votes. And it was like, man, I don't like I get the feeling you don't want it to feel like a popularity contest.
Yeah, 100%. It's so funny because I don't know if you've been seeing any of like the interviews we dropped today, but Ethan's approach to this is so hilarious because he's just flat out saying like, "You better freaking vote for me. I don't care if my video is the worst one. Like, go." And I mean, on my end, I can see the analytics in terms of what's getting the most like longest watch time,
Yeah.
what's getting the most through. And Ethan's like, like he's kind of killing it right now. He's one of the top looked at dudes. All the comments on my Instagram page are all rooting for Ethan to win just because he's putting himself out there. It's like he may win just based on that, but there's a reason why I wanted that to be a possibility because I really want to show brands like, yo, these are the kind of dudes like worth sponsoring. You know what I mean? Like Ethan has one paying sponsor right now, but he pushes stuff so hard.
Yeah.
And just to kind of counterbalance that, we're also doing the judges thing sponsored by Source BMX,
Right.
just to have like a, like, all right, this guy had the best part. Which Ethan might have the best part. He might win because of that too. But I definitely want brands to recognize, oh, this dude really pushes things. Like he really hyped it up. Like it's what we want in a rider.
Yep.
So
I definitely can feel where you're coming from with that one, and here's my take on Ethan. I
mhm.
feel like so there's a lot of people in BMX throughout the years who have gotten popular and stayed popular and had a personality that they put out there. I feel
Yeah.
like Ethan is his personality. Like he is that person in real life. Like that is who he is, and that's what you're getting. And I just that's the impression that I get, and I think that's what is so like what draws people to that is like that is really him. He's not putting that face on.
Oh, 100%. And there's kind of this like this arch I always see in my head where it's like you're really authentic, right? And people may not like that he's like cocky or confident, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So people might start to fall off, but then as the arc continues, people start to respect how authentic he is, and then you start really building that super fan following, which he has. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an Ethan fan is much more likely to buy his like sleeper line from Fit than someone else's fan is to actually buy their frame. Like Ethan tells me like his stuff sells out at Fit first. Like every time they drop a colorway or a frame or anything, like he is their dude right now.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's because he pushes it, and it's funny because everybody should be pushing it. I almost wish everybody was kind of more competitive because it would make for a much better viewing experience. I think like I don't know. I don't want beef in BMX, but if there was two guys in some kind of rivalry and you know they were kind of going for each other, it's just kind of a different angle. You know, people would definitely tune in just to see how it ends up playing out, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Um, I don't
So
know.
you just reminded me of something that I remember seeing probably 5 years ago, and I bet you'll remember this because I bet you watched all of them. The Come Up
Uh,
TV,
oh, the South.
Catfish, talking about what BMX needs to happen next, and he talks about, I think what needs to happen is some kind of like BMX, like how the UFC does things, where and he's saying how like I don't mean like BMX riders fighting, but like
Yeah.
how the UFC takes people and promotes them and things of that nature. And what you just said really made me feel like exactly what Catfish said 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm not saying BMX should be like that, but I just wish at least a corner of it was like that for the people that respond to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, like there was this game of bike for this. I'm gonna keep this as vague as possible. There was this game of bike for this media company's event, and the two riders playing a game of bike, they had beef. Okay, I knew them both personally, and they both knew what tricks the other one couldn't do. And they were doing those tricks on purpose, and there was like, if you knew them, you kind of like felt the vibe kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it almost ended up being more of a bummer versus I feel like it would have been healthier for both of them and more entertaining if they're like, oh, I know he can't crank flip. I know you can't crank flip. Like just messing around, making it like a funner experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying everybody should go be Conor McGregor. Like I don't think we need that either. But I'm saying like again, like I'm the kind of consumer that would respond well to healthy beef. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I think a lot of people would too, but that's just, I don't know, the more diversity we have, the better because we'll have people that want it to be super wholesome and like T1 vibes, and we'll have people that want it to be Conor McGregor stuff. And as long as you can have both, I feel like to attract both kinds of people, it's fine, you know?
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, that's the way I see it.
You,
But yeah,
you'll you'll have both whenever you have games of bike between the right people, and I think that just like you said how you wanted something like what you're doing to promote a person like Ethan and to companies to be like, hey, this is the guy you should sponsor. I think the more people that come out with their personalities that are authentic, and like Gary Young is a perfect example. Gary Young, everybody knows his personality, and you meet him and it's exactly the same as what you get from any type of video or interview or whatever with him, and it's just a general like he's real, he's authentic, he puts stuff out there that shows who he is, and the more of that I think the better.
yeah. Gary Young called me out when we were filming his part. It was kind of funny. Because I never really had like an older BMX guy like to teach me the ways, you know. We all kind of just got into it at middle school.
Yeah.
And he was referencing to Bulldog bikes or something else, or some like to me like vintage BMX kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't know what the hell he was talking about. He's like, do you just not care about like our history? I forgot what he said. He said something. I was like, no, dude. It's just like, how the hell am I supposed to know about this? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know. Like, I have no
Yep.
way of knowing. Like, I think it's cool and all that. I'll watch Edwin videos and stuff like that, but I have no way of knowing anything before that. You know, when I was growing up, DVDs were on their way out, or VHSs were on their way out, and DVDs soon after. Um, but it was super funny. But
Yep, luckily we have those Instagram pages like Mid School BMX and Y2K BMX and Mid 2000s and Real BMX and all those pages that post all that older stuff to educate people. Because that's one of the biggest things that once I had the realization of it, was like, oh, you can't be mad at people who don't know something, who couldn't know it without being told. Like kids at the skate park who don't follow skate park etiquette. Maybe they've never been told, so you tell them, and then if they don't follow, that's when you get mad.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an ABD kind of thing. Oh yeah, this was done here 5 years ago, and then someone does it anyways. It's a lot different than like an accidental kind of thing. You can't really treat it the same way.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, like I said, I just had no role model in terms of, or not role model, no person to show us the ropes when we were growing up. It was kind of just a way to get around, and we started doing tricks after. So
that's
um,
uh, that's another thing I think is needed in BMX majorly is a dedicated outlet for the older stuff. Like Snakebite BMX is posting older videos on YouTube. I don't know if they have a blog or anything like that where they post, but something like that where there's a person who instead of writing about the new video that just came out, they pick an old one and say, "Look, this dude was doing this in this
yeah,
year and you need to know about it."
yeah, 100%. Even that one video that Hour did, I thought that was really cool. The half bar tooth, half
Yeah,
bar out, Ryan Nyquist thing. I was like, what? Like, that's crazy.
there's a new one right now.
Oh, really?
They put
What is
out
it?
the Brian Vowell 360 to hang 5 180 down the spine
Oh,
challenge.
that's crazy. Is Nyquist
Somebody's
doing
gonna
it?
die. What?
Who's doing that? Nyquist or who's doing that?
Nobody's posted trying it yet, but there's a couple people who like legitimately have a shot if they try it. And this one has been taken to a whole new level where there's like $500 of people who are like, I'll put in $50, I'll put in $20, who all commented on it.
Damn, like a pool kind of thing?
Yeah, which is I was I was watching or paying attention to that and I was thinking about it and I was Kurt mid school weekly video recommendation on the weekly news. Anyway, I was thinking about that and because I saw the comment from somebody saying you should put this together into a video like you did with the Nyquist one, and then I'm assuming or it's just the BMX page responded to it saying that's like the plan. And I was sitting there thinking about it, I'm like, man, if that gets enough views, you're gonna up the amount you're giving people for these crazy tricks and the content and do it more often because this
Yeah, it's
is
a great
sick.
concept. 100%, dude. 100%. Super good concept.
Oh, I'm excited for that and more stuff like that. And hey, that's something that USL could do too. I mean, there's nobody writing the rules.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, I really want to do more crossover stuff too between like kids and pros. I feel like there's a big line. I feel like a lot of it's very like I guess clicky, you know what I mean? It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like possible just to be in that bubble.
Yep.
But I mean, how cool would it be? You could do a contest and it's like the prize doesn't even have to be money. It could be like, oh, just come out filming with Ethan for the day.
Make a
You could,
day edit with your whoever, like
yeah, exactly. Like, you know how many kids would be stoked just to watch Garrett warm up in a parking lot?
all of them.
Yeah, I
Not,
would be.
I would
I've
be
watched
pretty pumped to
Legends.
do that.
Dude, you know what's crazy? Colin told me that there's like 12 minutes of Garrett footage that Tony is just sitting on that they just haven't released, and it's just full of MVDs and like crazy stuff from 6 years ago that people are just now starting to do. It's like crazy.
Once the best and will always be the best, Garrett Reynolds.
Yeah, 100% dude.
Man. Well, I think we're going to have to pick this up another time for the second time.
Sweet, yeah. We'll do it post video parts.
Ooh, I like that. So, I guess maybe sometime next week we could just figure something out because the videos come out Monday.
Yeah, they drop on the 28th. That's right. Yeah. Damn, dude. I'm kind of reminding myself how tight of a fuck. Kind of like get working on these things, man. I'm looking at 6 video parts I have to work on right now.
Well, I'll let
And
you get to that and we could do something either Tuesday or Wednesday because then Thursday is New Year's Eve.
oh, damn, dude, this is crazy. I can't believe the year's already over. But yeah, we could do something. Yeah, it'd be cool to hear who you voted for too and why. And like, I guess we'll do like a reaction kind of video. But I'd love to hear it from you too. Just like, you know. organically, like what you thought and everything.
Oh, 100%. That would be cool if we could do it on Tuesday then, because I'll probably watch and do whatever like you want me to do or you'll let me do as soon as I can so that it can be done.
Okay. Yeah,
And
yeah. Cool. Now, right now, I'll probably just be tunnel vision on this, but definitely Tuesday or Wednesday or something. We could definitely work something out.
I'm down with that, and it'll be cool to get kind of a follow up and maybe even see where things are at, and you'll have a gauge for what the response is starting to be by then too.
Yeah, let's hope for good news, man. I'm freaking mad nervous, but should be good.
With the names you have involved, the companies you have involved, I think you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we'll see.
YouTube is about to be psyched on you because they're going to be countless Instagram pages and Facebook posts and posts from other websites and stuff linking to all of this at the same time. So they're going to be like, ding, 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 we got to move this thing up.
Yeah, yeah. Is that how it works? Like the more backlinks you have, it just like bumps you up faster?
Well, just the more different sources you have of views coming in and the more views you have coming in all at once right at the beginning and just in that first bit of time, it's just it does nothing but good for you.
Yeah, it rewards you. Yeah, dope, dude. Hope it happens.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for doing this. This has been really productive and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad. I'm glad I came on. Thanks for having me on, and then hopefully we'll have a great conversation a week from now. Either that or
Anyone who needs to find USL BMX and you on the internet, it's at USL BMX on Instagram. What's the YouTube?
I think if you just type in USL BMX, it's brand new, so I don't think I have enough subscribers to get like the customized link. But if you type in USL BMX, it should pop up.
And it will be in the description of this and your Instagram. What is it?
Oh, don't worry about that. We'll just keep it at USL. I don't really care for the
There you
personal.
go.
Yeah,
All
it's all
right,
good.
man.